special election for the county council's at-large seat is less than 2 weeks away. CTV has introduced or reacquainted you with each of those candidates since the election was announced. And joining us in the studio today is candidate Tamara Davis-Brown. Ms. Brown, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to talk about your background a little bit just to get people introduced to you. You haven't held public office before, but I know that you've been active in the community. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So I moved to the county in 1988 when I came to the DC area to attend Howard University School of Law, and I actually lived with a friend of mine from undergraduate. Their parents lived in Fort Washington, Maryland, and they allowed me to stay there for free for 3 years. And so after I graduated, I loved the area, decided to make Prince George's County my home, and started to be very active at Howard. They train us to be social engineers, which means regardless of the type of law you practice, you are to use your legal skills and degree to be a benefit to your community. And I've done just that. And so my activism and advocacy has been to make sure that Prince Georgians know and understand what the legislation really means. I break down the legalese and break it down to layman's terms so they'll understand what the law and how it impacts them and how they can advocate for, a better quality of life.
So what makes you the right choice for this at-large seat this year?
Well, I think integrity is on the ballot, and what makes me the right choice is that the advocacy that I have done has to do primarily with zoning and land use. The Prince George's County Council sits at about on 60% to 70% of the time. They're sitting as a district council on zoning and land use matters. Then they also sit as the Board of Health and then deal with legislative and budget items. But the bulk of what they do is the land and zoning matters, and that's what I have been doing and being active and involved in over the last 20 plus years with a lot of success. We've fought some development that we thought was not right for our county and for our area, and we've gotten what we wanted for the most part. We've been very successful in that. And so I think bringing that background, I was a part of a first cohort of the Park and Planning's Planning Academy, a 6 weeks program. No one else has actually done that in terms of being a candidate for this. And then I think the last thing is that I'll be a voice for the people. The county council so often hears from developers and special interests, but rarely do they hear from the constituents that they actually serve. And that's primarily because a lot of the hearings, a lot of the meetings are during the day and people are at work. And the at-large position, particularly gives you the opportunity to be that voice for the entire county.
So let's get to some of the major issues that are going to be coming up this year in the council. I want to talk about affordable housing. Sure. What are your plans to make that more accessible to county residents?
So I think the county needs to do a better job in terms of actually owning property itself. So one idea is to have a land bank and actually allow the county to buy. We have some of the highest foreclosures. Buy some of that property that's either going to auction or up for sale, and that we can use as a tool and a stepping stone for those who may need a little bit of help in terms of whether it's a victim of domestic violence, whether it's a young person that's just graduating and out of college or getting into their trade and trying to move forward. And so what I'd like for us to do is to be more of the home buying aspect and the home and land aspect within the county so that we can create the programs that are needed for affordable housing. The other thing that we need to do a better job of is securing federal funds from HUD, other organizations, other federal organizations that allow for help with home ownership, whether the home ownership could be that it's your first apartment and you just still need some help with rent, for example. The county council has done a good job and just recently allowing for rent stabilization. I applaud that and I love that. I want to continue to work with the county council on doing rent stabilization to make sure that Prince George's County is affordable for everyone.
Moving forward, I want to talk about making the county welcoming to business owners and supporting the businesses that we already have here. What are some plans to make that happen and, help bolster the economy in the county?
So actually, I think the county has a very good EDC, Economic Development Corporation. What I think is lacking is that some of the benefits that they actually have are actually not being publicized enough. I'm a small business owner myself. I started my own broadband company, Last Mile Broadband of Maryland, where we provide high-speed internet service to the rural and underserved areas in the state and nationally as well. And we were able to participate in an incubator program. A lot of small businesses and Prince George's businesses are not taking advantage of some of the work that the EDC is doing. And so I'm hoping that by being a small business advocate on the council, I do want to continue the work that the councilman that resigned this seat has done for small businesses to continue working in that vein. In terms of the larger business and what we can do to try to attract commercial here, I think we need to specify and try to help make Prince George's a niche for something. Technology obviously is something that's important to me. Like I said, broadband would be a great niche for the county.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Brown. That's all the time we have today, but I appreciate you coming here and talking to us about these very important issues.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Make sure to tune in to CTV News for continuous election coverage. And just a reminder, early voting starts Wednesday, July 31st. Visit the Board of Elections website to find your designated voting site. And if you missed any of our candidate interviews, you can catch them on our YouTube page at youtube.com/PGCTV online.